Hey, everybody. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome back to another release of the Security Detections MCP. There is some massive updates in here. I've been kind of holding this because there's just too much info, too much things. I've also been debating like how do you release something like this and get it out to people in a kind of a consumable way. So hopefully at this point, I've already pushed it up to npm for you. I'm currently just running it on the branch right now, which is not public either, but it will be once you see this video. Everything should be public. I should have already posted everything with the video, so you should be good. There's a lot here. So kind of to begin, couple questions I got was how do I set this up? And so built out a whole setup guide across Mac, Windows, and Linux, kind of get you going. This release is ginormous. It is I call it the autonomous detection platform. This one's crazy because it changes everything from just being an MCP to now kind of handing everything to Claude, or if you're in Cursor, handing it to Cursor, letting the agent just do whatever it is that you would like it to kind of go off and do. So basically it just makes it completely autonomous. So you give it a report and it handles everything by extracting the TTPs, everything related to that report. It will analyze those coverage gaps, which is what the MCP has been known for. This time's a little bit different. It will now generate those detections. Now, this is the hardest part with 3.0 is I didn't know how to give this part out because there was a lot of more like local context stuff that I was using that I couldn't just like give out because it wouldn't make much sense to you. It wouldn't work for Elastic. It wouldn't work for Sigma. So what I was doing was I would say, take this report, analyze, rip out, check for gaps. If no gaps, go and query Splunk. And if I don't have data for it, write an atomic red team test or check if there already is an atomic red team test. If there isn't, write an atomic, push it up to the Splunk attack range, run the atomic test, then query Splunk through the Splunk MCP, validate the detection. And this is where it gets powerful, is that it'll start iterating over to make sure the detection will detect that particular behavior. Once it does that, for our sake, it was extracting the attack data so that we could reproduce or validate that content next time, and it'll stage or draft a PR. There's a lot in here. So what I ended up having, I wrote two things here. One, I don't know if you're using Cursor. I don't know if you know how to use LangGraph. So for me, it was learning LangGraph as well. So there's a couple things that are being dumped out here. First, LangGraph. Everything that I just mentioned is built into LangGraph. That's going to be under the agents directory over here on the left now. The other thing is if you're using Cursor, the power is that Cursor recently came out with subagents. So I also integrated this straight into Cursor because that's kind of where I operate from. And this will allow you to kick everything off right here in Cursor. So I already kicked it off over here on the right-hand side. I'm just going to go and check it out real quick. And so you can see here, it's called Orchestrator. You just tell the orchestrator, and the orchestrator will go and kick off all the jobs. So here's like the CTI analyst, and I'll drill down in a second to show you where all these are coming from. There's the CTI. I canceled this one for fun because I was curious, like, what happens? And so you can see it goes through the detections MCP, reads all the data, checks that coverage analysis, things like that. And then you have your detection engineer subagent go through, kick things off, validate, like, what do I have? What do I don't have? Things like that. Query Splunk if it needs to. It's running content cuddle validate here, things like that. And then down here, it's looking, I guess it created something. It wants to QA it. So there's a QA reviewer built in. To show you what its jobs are doing here. So here, this is this is built into directly into the Cursor subagents. So you're able to kind of go in and see the little jobs that are performing by the agents. If you're using Claude Code, if you've used Claude Code, there's a lot of, obviously there's a lot of power the subagents in there, kind of the same deal. Now, you're kind of getting the back end view of it kind of operating here. You can see it's like searching the web, looking for different things related to the storm group, 0501, finding different content, doing all kinds of random stuff here now. But so it kind of can still go off the rails, but you can see that it is still doing different things. But it's doing a QA review, trying to understand the Splunk SIM data model stuff there. So anyway, back to the README, because that was a huge subpar there, graph there. Again, on the LangGraph side, you can kick all of this off with LangGraph, and same thing, has an orchestrate. You just pass the alert, CISO alert, or a threat intel report. It'll kick off. You can go for like specific techniques. I will attempt to demo all of this. As you can see, this one is still running. I think I kicked it off, I don't know, 10 minutes before I even started recording today. But yeah, so the whole idea, right? CTI report, gap analysis, detection engineer, validation, open PR, run atomic test, everything completely built in. Yeah, and so then there is now also a really nice setup guide. So I know that there was some questions about like Windows and whatnot. I don't test this on Windows, so I really couldn't tell you 100%, but check this out. Let me know if it works for you. Obviously, the simplest form is just cloning the repo, bring it down. It does need Node, NPM, Git, Python. For Mac, which is what I'm on, just do a brew, run the kind of like standard stuff. Linux, kind of the same. Windows, WSL, just kind of depends. I think we had a PR come in to help us on the Windows side, so hopefully this is still good for you. Yeah, the one thing that we talked about, which is the MCP does use the SQLite database on the back end. That was probably the biggest thing I really didn't explain well enough on the first round of all of this, is that, thankfully with NPM and the way the MCP always worked, it just kind of shipped it. But yeah, so for like Mac, WSL and all that, so basically just NPM install, it handles everything, right? And then from here, you can kind of just go on and do your thing. We talked about downloading all the detection content in the past. If you're using Cursor, it's as simple as just pasting in, a new MCP. The way the MCP works, right, is it's very easy. You could just click the button on the repo. You're good to go. VS Code. Thank you, Bert. Claude Desktop, things like that. So, and obviously verifying it works just by asking basic questions here. All right, and then the pipeline stuff. LangGraph's a little bit different. So you'll need to install it. You'll want to set up, there's an env file. Let me open that. Okay, so I guess before we get too crazy, obviously the README stuff, and then there's a whole end-to-end testing guide in here now, kind of showing you the different stages and the different, how the agents kind of operate piece by piece. So from there, I'm gonna go back to our process threat report. What did you do? Okay, looks like maybe some things were not complete. Anyway, he shipped a bunch of stuff. Cool. Oh, he even created a navigator. Oh, okay, okay, nice. Okay, I'll let that finish. You can watch that. I'm gonna go on the left side over here real quick. Okay, so something I did not know how to really share, which will come out now in 3.0, is I have a bunch of Claude rules and skills that I will ship. A lot of these I generalized so that it was easy for you to expand and tune for your environment. Atomic red team testing, kind of as you would think. You need to give it the paths, that kind of stuff, tell it different things. It's going to be for your environment if you even use the range piece of this like I am. So you just need to kind of modify and iterate. If you want to use attack range, it can also build attack ranges. Anyway, to like the coverage analysis here, kind of the same thing. This more or less, I generalized it as much as I could so that you could take this and make it for your environment or however you want to use it. CTI detection engineer, gives it a description. Everything's in here, you guys, everybody. Like, there is just so much information. This was a lot of work, but I've been playing with it. I've been using it a lot. And I think that you'll find it extremely powerful. Even detection review, right? It writes detection, so you want to have it validate and confirm that these are going to be good. If you have the ability to connect it to your SIM, I highly recommend it so that it can autonomously go and hit your SIM, pull data back, look at it, tell you if it's good or bad, anything like that. You can see for Splunk, I was doing content cuddle, content CTL, which you can get on the repo. If you're using Sigma, Elastic, Sentinel, you just need to kind of configure it and iterate. There's, a SQL optimizer or SPL optimizer in here, just kind of things that were helping me, pretty all generalized. All right, so that's Cursor skill or Claude Skills. These are detection templates as well, so it just kind of understands what to do, and like the threat analysis workflow just kind of tells it where to go. These are kind of like the first things for Claude to load up, so it makes it easier for Claude to know what to do. Now that's Claude. Cursor, lots in here. There's a lot. So kind of depending on your environment, I will share these. Now, one thing that I wanted my workflow to have was like, if you run into an error, you need to self-heal yourself. So, and iterate and try to fix it. So if there's something in the code that's not working, fix the code. Like, I don't want you to think, I want you to fix. As you can see here, this self-healing file, this rule in particular, will basically tell Claude or the, within Cursor here to go and make sure you fix your problems versus just giving up and failing. Different things, detection validation. So this is like using either content cuddle, writing it back into the Splunk YAML files. I'll share it. Again, it's very kind of specific for my environment, but you can modify however you want to use as well. So that's kind of the power of this. I had a little issue with like content cuddle file path locations and stuff. So just making sure it always knew where to go. Now, let's flip over to agents. Cursor subagents is fairly new. This might be this might be like the first largest instance I've actually seen of subagents, like actual written out agents. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff in here. This is like the atomic executor. So it's like, hey, you are an atomic tester, create atomic test. Now, you do, in my professional opinion, is you don't always have to have malware. You can have it, fake it, or simulate the behavior just to give you. So like suspicious file names, just copy it, rename a file that spawns something just to get the job done. That's all built in here. Again, you need to review these and modify for your org. And again, all of this is baked and built specific to like attack range. So it's just, you're going to have to either modify or review. So, but yeah, check it all out. So that's if you even want to use that. CTI analyst is probably going to be the biggest for most folks, basically telling it which MCP tools to go and use. Make sure you install the MITRE ATT&CK MCP, which I still don't think I even shared publicly. It's on my repo. But yeah, so tells it what to do, where to go, how to do all these things. Here's the detection engineer, making sure that it's consistent in what it's doing and how it does its work, writing the like SPL YAML file consistently, not just making things up. This goes back to the initial reason why we wrote this MCP, focused on being correct in writing content, right? And now we're providing the LLM, we provide the LLM, the MCP, to query this data, find things without using grep. And then now we're giving it the skills with the agents and the skills to actually develop the content the way you want the content to be developed. So you can see these are all the tools that this particular agent understands and can use generating. So very generalized as well. Orchestrator is the main one. Think of it as the master control, the MCP, if you remember from Tron, master control program. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, but you can see basically this one right here will run through everything, doing all the work, kicking off all the tasks and everything like that. So that's a lot. I'm going to share all this. This will all be out there. You now have access. Now, back here, this is using the Cursor subagents, like I mentioned, and you saw them sort of in action here. And you can drill into these to kind of see and understand what the agents were doing. It looks like it wrote a couple files actually, so that's kind of cool. Oh, it looks like it may have killed him. That's okay. But yeah, this is kind of what it does, right? Like the whole idea is that it has these things to these agents, these subagents are meant to go and create all of this. The goal, right, is to be able to automate a lot of it so that you don't have to manually kind of like handle this stuff at such a heavy scale. I'm closing a couple things because I'm going to go ahead and open the terminal down here at the bottom to show the LangGraph side of things here. And what's this one? Oh, yeah, there is a README in the LangGraph or in the agents directory here too. Just quick start. How do I use this thing? I'm actually just going to copy this one. It does have a dry run function, basically just a way to test it. There is a env file that you will want to copy right here. Set it up for your SIM, add your Anthropic API key, your paths to all your content, because obviously it still needs that. It's just like the Cursor subagents. Cursor makes it easier, but if you're a LangGraph or you want to learn LangGraph, this is a really cool way to obviously learn. Yeah, so here's kind of how it all looks, right? Everything's in here, full detail. So I'm going to go ahead, pull this up, and let's run it. So, well, there's that. First error of the day. All right, so this is why with demos, we have things copy and pastable. I'm just going to go ahead and clear so we don't look at my failures. All right, so let me copy. Let's do, oh, those are, oh, why don't we do this real quick too? You can call the Cursor subagents direct. So this one's like, hey, CTI analyst, I want you to analyze this report. So you could do these direct as well. You can just call them and then you'll see it kind of kick off here. That was obviously just a fetch, but it's obviously grabbing some functions of the different agents there. So while that's firing and you're watching, let me just hit enter so it kind of keeps going. All right, let me get my notes. Man, this is taking a long time to find notes. Oh, yeah. Here's a good one. Let's see. What did it do over here? Sorry, now I'm like distracted to the max degree here. That's a lot going on there. Okay, I'm gonna let that continue. And then I'm going to copy this one I did earlier. Yes, here we go. Okay, so it's still going nuts over here. But this was like the CTI analysis dump of all the datas. If you really wanted to, I personally would just dump that out to like a markdown file. Okay, so check this out. This is LangGraph now. So we're going to do npm run orchestrate. The type is a technique, and the input is this, T1218.015. It's Electron app hijacking for defense evasion. You hit enter. It's going to kick off the full pipeline. So remember, think this is the same thing as the Cursor subagents, but now you're in LangGraph. You can see it called the CTI analyst. It's hitting the MCP. You can see all the MCP calls. You can see it's analyzing, and it's found that there was 0 existing detections. So it's actually going and creating that particular detection now. While that's occurring, I'm going to bring back our agents directory. And I want to show you, before we review its work, it's already there. So let me find it. Let's go. Where's it at? Atomic. Oh yeah, I don't have attack range going, so it's fine. Validation, nothing goes, yeah, it's fine. Complete tells you what it did. You can have it go full bore if you really want to. I didn't have attack range on, which is no big deal. So then on the left, I mentioned the env file in the agents directory. I will show you that real quick, just so you kind of get an understanding. This is obviously on the repo now, so you can review it. Or read it into ndoc right there. So again, specify your SIM, your Anthropic key, what LLM you would like it to use, which model, different repo paths. So I have all my repo paths in here, Elastic and everybody. And, if you are doing attack data, attack range, all that kind of stuff, all the setup is in here. I obviously have the Splunk MCP. So I have that and everything. So you just go in and tell it what to do. All right, so it output this. awesome new autonomous detection agent generated detection here. I'm gonna let's go ahead and do a little rapid. Okay, so it followed the schema with how I want it to write things, right? Which we saw in the agents and the skills and whatnot. Gives a description as we would expect. And following all the schema, this is a sysmon event ID 1 based type of detection using the Splunk SIM data model format. So we see it's looking for these process names with these command line arguments. And for the most part, it's pretty well written. And all the, oh yeah, some additional ones, ORs. Okay, so there's an OR down here with these compared to just like the standard. So that or this. It looks like everything overall is pretty good. How to implement, where it retrieved this information from. We use drill down searches in the YAMLs here, so that's all there. And then the RBA work, tags, all this kind of stuff. Bam. And then if I had attack data for it, or if I had it let it complete the full pipeline, right? If I had atomic red team, attack range, it would go and kick it, validate, generate, test, all the full query validation and everything like that. So super powerful. Yeah, crazy, right? Trying to think what else we can play with here. That one, I don't think that worked. It worked earlier for me. Yeah, I didn't like it. All right, maybe it's that one. Oh yeah, okay. This is like kind of almost like asking the questions. I don't know. That's weird. I'll double check all this, obviously, before it goes out. So, yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I got. So yeah, check it out. This is 3.0. It's big. Let me know if you see the 4.0 teaser in there. Currently working on 4. And yeah, well, thank you for listening. I hope you found this interesting, crazy, the advancement of this MCP over time. But yeah, hope you check out the Security Detections MCP, the MITRE ATT&CK MCP, and try out LangGraph. If you haven't used LangGraph before, give it a shot. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.